outsource it, but no, this doesn't give you a flavor. This is all good for the
budget. According to the state statute, such publication shall be contained in a notice of public hearing to be conducted by a budget committee. I'd like to members of that committee to stand at this time, please. Thank you. At this time, the citizens of Carter County, upon 5 days written request, shall have the right to appear and state their views on the budget. I have one written request that came into the financial office, and we will allow Mr. Roy Livingston to speak at this time. Mr. Livingston, you have 5 minutes.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Roy Livingston, and I'm from Hampton. I'd like to ask Ms. Keller, and I don't want to count this off my time, what are the rules here? You said nobody else can speak except me because I signed this.
I read the statute. I'll make that decision after you speak.
You'll make the decision?
Well, the committee can also, not me.
Okay. Thank you. Do I have an opportunity to speak on both the squad and the public?
This is a public hearing for the budget, Mr. Livingston. That's what you're supposed to be speaking on.
Okay. Will the squad be part of it, is what I'm asking?
The squad is part of the budget. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is kind of a touchy situation. The squad itself, I think there's a lot of misinformation out here. And I don't really know complete details of it, but I would like to ask Mr. Arnold, where is he? Okay. How many stations do we
Mr.
have?
Livingston, I'm sorry, but it has to be spoken on the budget, and that can be
This
the
is-
amount of money or whatever, but questioning someone in the audience wouldn't quite be appropriate, I do not believe.
Okay, we'll never know the truth then, I guess. I was trying to tell these ladies and gentlemen the truth here, supposedly then. They tell us we've got one station in Rome Mountain, one in Hampton, then we have one in Stony Creek. It's my understanding we have one at the hospital in Elizabeth that we don't know about. And he can either confirm it or reject it. But here's the thing about it. If we're going to take these two stations out that they're talking about, why don't we go to Hampton? It's a central area in our county, and move the headquarters to Hampton. Because you can go to Rome Mountain, you can go to Butler, you can go to Pine Crest, you can go to Stony Creek, you can go every which way. They already own the property up there. We can move this thing to Hampton. And it'd take care of a whole lot of problems. It'd be a central area. If that's what they're going to do, if they're going to take the rest of these stations out, move it to Hampton, the central area, and they can work from there anyway. It's a central of the entire county. Now, on the budget, January 1, or February 1, rather, they were supposed to start the budget process here. Okay? They didn't touch the budget process until May. They had 3 months. They've done absolutely nothing. Now, this is the budget, Chairman. Well, I can understand it's a problem to do this, to take care of this. That's what the 81 Act calls for. They sit here for 3 months, done absolutely nothing. Now they come down to the last minute, and they're gonna throw this up there and shoot at it. And there ain't nothing been, you know, they had plenty of time to have this thing finished back in May. Okay, it didn't happen. So now where are we at? Today, they just have higher information, and they want the commission and stuff to vote on. And you've got some commissioners on this budget, some really good commissioners, and then you've got some that they want to do it yogi style. They just want to throw it up and shoot at it and let her go. And that's what we're going to get in today. You're going to get into another jail deal right here. If you're not careful, we've got a jail sitting over there. You got $40 million in right now, and there's another 50 or 60 to finish it. Is this what we're going to end up with? this thing, we're gonna see how these commissioners operate. There's a good big enough crowd here to understand what they're doing. You'll catch on real quick, they're not gonna let you talk, ain't gonna go. They've done took away your life right now unless you wants to induce them on her part. But the law, they're not gonna let you talk. So, what are we gonna do here? Now, some of the stuff here in this budget thing, they've been telling that, and I believe it's on Mr. Hill's website, that they give the highway
Mr.
department.
Livingston, your time is up.
Is anybody else gonna get to speak? I'd like for them to
I
give
have
me
two
my.
more people that called in. I'm going to address that just in a second.
All right, can one of the people that's gonna speak here give me their time?
I will address that just in a second, Mr. Livingston. Your
Okay,
time's up.
in other words, can I speak again and finish this?
That's up to the person that I say can speak.
Okay, thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, I knew they'd stop me because I've got the facts, I ain't gonna hear them.
Thank you, Mr. Livingston. For anyone's information, I have the calendar on the budget committee. The outside agencies were requested February 2nd to turn in the budget and the process beginning. I had two requests by phone calls, and that first request would go to Joe Buchanan. We'll allow her to speak. Ms. Buchanan, you have 5 minutes. Thank you.
My name is Joe Buchanan. I'm a lifelong resident of Run Mountain. We in Run Mountain need emergency rescue services, and we also want what our tax money pays for in Run Mountain. Run Mountain has station number 2, the second station that was built in the county, and we'd like to keep it. While Carter County and Elizabeth have contributed $190,000, the rescue squad cut 20 positions, almost 40% of their workforce, and didn't return any of our money to taxpayers for fewer workers. So now they're proclaiming that we need to hire 7 employees. You're asking for an addition of $227,000 for that. I think the 32 employees at $190,000 was a much better bargain for the taxpayers. Next, about the rest. $4 million. Pardon?
Ma'am, you'll have a chance to speak.
Our ambulance call reports being completed accurately. All medical information must be on report in order to review and follow up. Is the collection department getting all the needed information? If the collection agent is receiving more than 50% for collection, that shows us that we have older debt trying to be collected. It doesn't sound as if things are being run efficiently. And the higher the collection percentage, the longer the debt has been due. I'm not against the rescue squad, I just am for efficiency in the running of the rescue squad. Are employees in the building department current with their credentials? And are they certified professional coders, certified ambulance coders? If not, this is costing you as the rescue squad, and it's costing Carter County as taxpayers because they may not have the qualifications to even do the billing. If the billing department trained for the current international classification of diseases, it's called ICD-10, which is required for medical diagnosis coding by October the 1st of 2015. If not, the billing write-offs will skyrocket. Just see what money will be asked for later. Has the billing department tested ICD-10 with the payers that they will be dealing with? Are we losing money because we don't have contracts with insurers? Are these contracts renewed in a timely manner? Does the insurance money go to you, the Carter County Rescue Squad, when people are paid, or does it go to the patient? Do the billers and coders follow up on the matters in a timely manner? If the Carter County Rescue Squad is not following up with cases like workman's comp, car accidents, and injuries, then the patient gets money from the insurance company rather than the Carter County Rescue Squad will get nothing. Accurate ambulance reports and coding are key to getting the money back that they need. And I'd like to know who follows up on payment denials. with bad debt being more than $2 million and contractual write-offs over $488,000, someone needs to be working on this on an hourly and daily basis. The Clark County Rescue Squad could be getting $1,990,653.40 at a collection rate of 80%, and we wouldn't need to be adding more tax dollars to this. Other counties are getting their money at a rate of 80% and Palmer week. Carter County's percent of salary and benefits compared to operating expenditures is more than 30% below the average of counties surrounding figures. We lose experienced, trained EMS workers to other counties. The money is going somewhere, but it's not going to our EMS workers. Next, I'd like to know who's on the board of directors. Do we have any county commissioner in here who is on the board of directors with the squad? That way we would know what was running throughout the year rather than being blindsided when the budget is being set. I'd like to also know how closing 2 buildings will save money. Electricity, Roan Mountain's water bill is certainly lower than Elizabethton's now, and it will be for several years, I think. We have the wear on equipment will end up eating up the benefits, and more EMS workers will be lost. We reduced the squad by 40%, all stations are still open. If you close the Elizabethton station at the hospital, it will be closer and quicker to travel from Hunter to transport an ER patient under a physician's
Mr.
care.
Kevin, your time's up.
Okay.
Thank you. Next call we had was Commissioner Nancy Brown. Ms. Brown?
Ms. Keller, there are a lot of things with this budget that I don't like, and I've addressed that. We've got some overspending. We've got one bonus in this for a pay raise of $5,200 in one line item. The rest, I think that every person in this room ought to get to talk, and I wish that you would grant it to them. And I would ask the rest of the committee to back me on this, to see that everybody gets to talk that come here and talk today. We have a real issue. We need our rescue squad, and I beg you, please let them talk.
Would it be in order for me to make a motion to let them talk?
No, it's not a voting meeting, it's a public hearing. Ms. Brown, are you finished?
Can I waive my rights to somebody else
You
to
have
talk?
4 minutes.
Anybody that wants to talk, stand up. Ms. Jo Buchanan, you can finish.
I have a question for the county commission. I can talk loudly, I don't need to be up there. What are the benefits of dealing with an independent agency rather than having a county rescue squad like some surrounding counties have? And has the commission studied these options of having a county agency for the rescue squads? Also, if Roan Mountain and Hampton are dropped from the Carter County Rescue Squad service, could this current $170,000 be applied to making a contract with Avery County for Roan Mountain, Johnson County for Hampton, to provide services to these 2 areas? If this sounds unfair to the rest of Carter County, think how it sounds about having the closure of Roan Mountain and Hampton to us while we're paying taxes for life-saving services that are being moved from our community. The time it takes to save a life is the important goal. Let each one of us remember that we must work out the best possible services for everyone involved. Thank you.
Hey, Madam Chairman, can I say something?
You may.
As a budget committee, I think it should be up to us, all of us. These people came down here this morning to speak. This is a public hearing. And I don't think we should put something on where they have to get on the agenda, or make a phone call and speak. This is what is advertised, a public hearing. And I think that budget committee, what we want them speaking on.
Thank you.
And I vote yes.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. I believe I talked to some people on the phone just in the last couple of days, and I told them I was going to allow other people to speak. Anyone else would like to speak? I will limit you to 3 minutes since we do not have you on the agenda. Ms. Ward?
I don't need the 3 minutes. The only thing I need to ask, and I'll refer to the lawyer, if you don't mind. The law says,
Well, this is on the public hearing for the budget.
I understand that, that's what we're talking about here, the public hearing. The law says that anybody who gives the notice, who calls in or who signs up, has the right, they shall have the right to be heard. I think that that does not preclude people who want to speak here from being able to speak if they are asked to, or if they're recognized by the commission or by the chairman. I think they still have that option according to the law. I've studied that a lot, and I've had other opinions on that. So actually, I think that people can speak if they are given the option to. That law does not preclude them from speaking. It gives the person the right to, and they can't take that right away from that person who signs up early.
Sure, state law provides on 5 days written notice, they can speak. Beyond that, it's up to the chairman. If the chairman recognizes somebody, and she can let everybody in this room speak, that's her decision. But yeah, to be compliant with state law, it's 5 days written notice in advance. We've complied with that, so beyond that, it's her decision on who speaks.
I have someone here who wanted to speak. You state your name, where you live. You can come up here if you want.
I think I can talk loud enough.
Madam Chairman, please have the people come to the microphone because some of us are old and can't hear.
Mr. Montana has a drink bottle. You have 3 minutes, sir. State your name and where you live.
Can everyone hear me now? I'm not going to say much, but I was real glad we had a rescue squad back in January. I had a heart attack. And they have to drive from Stony Creek to Roan Mountain. They're about a mile up Stony Creek, 17 miles to Roan Mountain. And it's 3 miles where I live, and some people live on Buck Mountain, Walnut Mountain, up toward the Rome, and the road gets narrow, bridges gets one way, and the road gets steep. It takes too long to get there. It's a serious case. The buzzards may get there before the rescue squad.
Yes, ma'am. You state your name and where you live. You have 3 minutes.
My name is Pamela Baldwin. I'm a resident of Roan Mountain. I just want to point out briefly that there's nothing more important government can do than safeguard the lives of its citizens. We're not talking about an ordinance to clean up dog poop. We're talking about saving lives. We had 4 days notice when I saw the interview with Mr. Arnold on television to realize that our substation in Roan Mountain was going to be closed down. That's not my idea of public participation in a democracy. Please reject this budget, send it back, give us time, and consider all the alternatives as Ms. Buchanan outlined, and see what the facts are and what can be done that's better than shutting off this vital service. Thank you.
State your name, where you live, and you have 3 minutes.
Good morning. My name is Scott Morgan, and I was a former fire chief at Roan Mountain from 1995 to 2004. And I know there's issues with the budget, but closing those stations will be detrimental to the county. And one area we're not looking at and talking about the LBL is in Pogie. I know from a fact, the fire, or the Station 2 has helped the fire department many times in Roan Mountain. We had one firefighter at one fire received a burn. EMS was right there. They were able to give us everything we needed. They followed us on every single call. We even used them many times because they're volunteers. We didn't have a lot of volunteers on call. I do also know that it takes longer than 18 minutes to get from Stony Creek to Rome Mountain.
Absolutely.
I've been there. I've had people at Rome Highlands, families that have had problems and they need help right now. And I want to close with this. Most of you probably, except for EMS, have never seen this. We first responded with Carter County Rescue Squad for many years when I was fire chief. And to sit and look at the loved one, and their loved one laying there dying, and they look at you as fire chief and they say, what are you going to do? And all I can say as a first responder, they're on their way, they'll be here. And there's complete silence. That's a sad situation to be in, waiting for the EMS to be there. So I tell you, I know it's a lot of money, maybe we can work something out over this next 12 months, but we need to keep those stations open.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. State your name, when you leave, and you have 3 minutes. 3 minutes to go.
My name is Jean Bain. I live in Roan Mountain. I think you all need to take into consideration the fact that we have a nursing home, we have 2 schools. This is just, to me, unconscionable that you are even considering closing the Roan Mountain Rescue Squad. They are a vital part of our community. I have had reason to call them. They were at my home in 4 minutes. Now you tell me, if I had to call for a rescue squad to come from Elizabethton, are they going to get to my house in 4 minutes? No way. Absolutely no way. I think we need to take into consideration the fact that we have a lot of elderly folks there. We have a lot of children, hence 2 schools. These folks are important. They are vital to our community, as is the rescue squad. Thank you.
Address the budget, sir. Again, state your name, where you live, and you have 3 minutes. Again, this is a public hearing on the budget items.
It'll make me go along with
The elderly ways.
My name is Bill Carroll, and I live in Roan Mountain. I was born in Roan Mountain, and all I can say is to take the emergency rescue squads away from this area is criminal. And those that don't agree with it, leave now. Get up and leave now. I don't care. You know, there are various ways to collect the money to pay these people. We can have a wheel tax. We can determine, you know, I don't know if there's anyone here who can tell me what we have in collection for license plates. But you can take and you can add whatever money or whatever number you need on the license plates, because you know something, my wife and I, Jean, we used to live in California. We used to pay hundreds of dollars for our license for our cars. For one car, we paid over $400. Now, that's a lot of money. That's really too much money. But what I'm saying is we could increase the license plate, the amount of taxes collected, and portion this out to everybody that drives a car. How many people in this county do not drive a car? Very few. And so I'm saying, if we need more money, we have ways of getting it. But you know something? If you don't know about it, you can't do anything about it. And that's why I'm here, because I object to the way this has been done. And I don't care who I'm speaking to. It doesn't matter if there are county commissioners here. All I'm saying is you have no right to do this until you let the people know.
Yes.
Anyone else in the audience would like to speak on the budget? Mr. Arnold.
Thank you, Commissioners. I speak to the board of directors. I speak to the board of directors. And a lot of questions.
Still cannot hear background, sorry.
A lot of questions have been asked. Are we certified? Are we in line? Yes, we are. All you have to do is pick up the phone and call us. Ask us. This ain't happened overnight. This has took a decade to get us here. We've been unfunded for the last 7 or 8 years. We keep providing an aid service, and it's been very hard to listen to people in the community down the service that have saved many, many lives and will continue. I work for private services, and I work here at the Rescue Squad. I've been there almost 30 years now. Been a director for over 18, 19 years. Not here to cast no stones. All I'm trying to do is keep this thing going the way it is now. Yes, we do have to shut those stations down, and I have been instructed to do that on the 15th. We went for 3 more days to give the people and everybody the opportunity to speak. You can't run a service this size on a nickel and a dime. You cannot do it.
What about all the taxis that the people in Rome Mountain and surrounding
Ma'am, I'm
areas?
sorry, but it's Mr. Arnold's turn to speak.
I'm sorry, if you
You
call.
interrupted when that gentleman was trying to speak from him. You took his time.
If you would call me, I'll be more than glad to talk to you. We don't have to have a time limit. I don't think there should be a time limit when it's still people's lives.
Absolutely.
Everyone that works there has done triple the amount of work trying to keep it going. Our position even went up in LZ, and all of us did, went right down themselves to help the community out, get people out quicker to the hospital. You're going to lose something that you will never be able to get back. Never. And I've talked to some commissioners, and I talked to one year, Stephen Sheldon, one company wanted to come in and join ventures with us. It was
Mr. Arnold,
$350.
3 minutes are up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have someone else who'd like to speak? Mr. Ward, you have 3 minutes.
My name is Danny Ward. I'm Commissioner in the 4th District. I'm speaking as a citizen of Clark County. Our rescue squad is very important. I used to be a rescue squad member years back, and we took the rescue squad to an amazing organization. We're in the top 10 in the state of Tennessee. There's not many people can say that. We got 95 counties. And we need the rescue squad around. Why does it matter, people and commissioners? Money is, I know we have a budget, but lives matter. I mean, why are we doing this? We need to fund our rescue squad. You know, if we bring an outside agency in, according to this article I have from WJHL, they did an interview on Mr. Mayor Humphrey, and he stated that it would cost 2 to 3 times what it would cost to fund the rescue squad at $225,000 to bring an outside agency in. We don't want outside people working our people. We need the people who's been here and has supported this rescue squad and has put their life in this rescue squad. As a volunteer, we can't go back to volunteers because when I used to go on calls on Wednesday nights, me and another gentleman would be there with first responders. I would have to stop at a gas station to pick up somebody, pick up an EMT to take him with me on a call. That's pretty sad. You know, lives matters. You know, Rome Mountain didn't used to have a rescue squad. That rescue squad got put up there so we could react quicker. You know, I can understand why people don't want to support the rescue squad because without the lives matter, I mean, the money's don't make a big deal. If we raise taxes a little bit, $5 here, $5 there, you know, if it's your grandmother that lived at the top of Buck Mountain, would you want her to die over a little bit of money? It's sad that we're even talking about this. This should be handled in the budget committee. It shouldn't have been, we should have had to wait this far. You know, I started this process a few months back, letting everybody know that's what was coming. You know, I'm asking fellow commissioners, please vote and change this budget so we can do that.
Have his hand up next. Again, public hearing on the budget. State who you are.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm probably going to be the one that's unpopular, first of all, here this morning. Now, everybody's saying that you are the ones that are opposing the Rome Mountain Rescue Squad operations. That's not true. The board of directors of the rescue squad are the ones that are making those decisions. Now, I believe in common sense government, but I also believe in research. There's been research done for the rescue squad that says they don't need this amount of money to continue to operate. You know, now I was not in on the research. I've read it. I don't know about the operations of the rescue squad. I've read some things about it. But I want you to know that the budget committee is not making the decision to close that. The board of directors of the rescue squad is. Now, again, I want to say one thing and then I'm going to quit. When this first started, and think about this now, I'm making any accusations, throwing something out for thought. When this first started, the rescue squad came and said, if you don't give us this money, we're going to sell this rescue squad. We already have mine. We have people that we've already marketed, and we're going to sell it. Now that didn't work. That didn't fly. The people kind of rejected that. The next thing was, the scare tactic was, if you don't give us this money, we're going to close down some churches. It's an emotional thing. Now, I appreciate the rescue squad. I was in it. And I think the rescue squad does a great work. And I think that the rescue squad is needful. All lives do matter. All lives matter. You can't separate Lone Mountain from Butler or any place else. All lives matter. But I believe that in the rescue squad, as with any operation in county government, don't tell me that there are not some inefficiencies in these operations that cannot be adjusted. I don't want to hear it, but I don't believe it in all of it. So we need to take a serious look at what we can do. I'm not closing Rome Mountain Rescue Squad. The budget committee is not closing. The board of directors are the ones, and I have not one time heard them say that we'll take a look and see if we can make some adjustments. Thank you.
Ron Cannon.
No question that the rescue squad is a totally vital aspect of county government, especially in a county that the population is aging quite rapidly. This county is a bedroom county, it's a retirement county, and let's face it, you've got to have response time. You can't have response time from Rome Mountain, Elk Mills, Little Milligan, based in Elizabeth. You've got to have your stations in Rome Mountain, Hampton kept intact. The fact that the county rescue squad operation is totally underfunded, based on other counties, $2 million in Sullivan, almost $2 million in Washington, and $170,000 contribution in Carter County doesn't make sense. That's the good news. Are you ready for the bad news? Efficiencies, in my opinion, are as good as I could see from an industrial standpoint. And, you know, that's all I know. But I do know this, that the operation on Stony Creek is #1. It's absolutely well kept, the equipment is in good order, and it is something to be proud of in this county. The only thing that I would say is this, and please bear with me because this is fact. How much is a person worth to operate such a department? In 1997, the director made $28,603. Increases along the way and 3 decreases. But today, with an $8,034 increase last year, the salary is now $97,359. That's a lot of money. Maybe the person's worth it. We also know this, that on top of that's an automobile insurance, FICA health coverage. That brings the total up to around $21,000, $121,000. No one in the county, including a county mayor, including the sheriff, and superintendent of schools, nobody makes that kind of money.
Mr. Von Cannon.
I wouldn't say that the man isn't worth it, but I'd say that's the only negative that I would have
Mr. Von Cannon.
based on the rescue squad. Thank you.
I think I saw Mr. Meehan's hand up before yours, and I'll get to you next. Mr. Meehan, you have 3 minutes.
Al Meehan, one of the representatives of the 2nd District, which involves Hampton and Rome Mountain. I would like to know that if I called because I was having a heart attack, which I might have before the end of this meeting, they would show up. But sitting there and listening to a lot of the public comments, it did seem that a lot of the emotional feeling is directed at the commission that we are making that decision to close down. I very rarely agree with Mr. Carroll, but we are not making that decision to closed down from Mountain or Hampton. But what I would like to know, because I'm part of a 24-member body who has to make major decisions on budgets and taxes and such that affect all the county, I don't think I've seen or made aware that who is on the board of directors, and maybe that's my fault, but I don't see the board of directors, their minutes, and the directives that come out of that board. Because it would be interesting to sit on a board and to make a decision such as that. Was this a direct order from the board, or is it up to the CEO of the rescue squad to decide which stations to shut down? These are facts that we need to see, or the budget committee needed to see prior to setting this budget. Who made these directives, and who has the authority to do that, and what consideration is made into a decision to shut down a major section of the county? These are all questions that we needed to have long before this meeting, before setting the budget. So that kind of information needs to be forthcoming. Who's on the board, what basis do they make the decisions, and do we have in writing what those decisions were? Was it direct to say, okay, as a board of directors, we are directing you as CEO to shut down this, or that?
And state your name, you have 3 minutes.
My name is Jeff Francisco. I work for the rescue squad. I've been there about 25 years, paramedic. And I've been trying to help people in this county for 25 years. I've been with Scott Morgan on those calls he was talking about. And sorry if I get a little bit emotional, because it really means a lot to me that this rescue squad works hard. None of the money the county gives us, none of your taxpayer money goes to ambulance services, not a penny. Everything this county gives us from money goes to rescue services. We don't get really well reimbursed for pulling people off the trail or car wrecks. We do get a little bit of that, not much. But your tax dollars do not go to fund ambulances in Rankin Park County. Every bit of that comes from our reimbursement. Our coders are certified. We're testing ICD-10 now. We've already had that implemented with their software. And as far as you all not being responsible for shutting down the stations, that's washing your hands, and that's not fair. None of us wants to shut a station down. Me, least of anybody. I've had to run all the way to Roan Mountain, and I've had to talk to those same people and explain why it takes so long. And nobody wants to do that. You've known for some time that we need this money. We were funded at $300 and some thousand years ago. We faced cut after cut after cut. Costs have increased and increased and increased. Everything makes sense to me. I don't understand why you all can't understand how we can work for this. We've laid off people, we've cut positions, and we are at the bare minimum of what can operate. We have an A-rated service, and it's awesome. Everybody that works there does a great job. This county commission is responsible for shutting those stations if they shut, because we don't want to do it, but we will have to. They talk about, oh, it won't save money because of bills. There's other ways that's going to save money, and for example, maybe selling the station. But that's not I don't know the statistics on that. I'm not here to talk about that. But I want you to look at your heart and do what you think is right. If you have to do a wheel tax, which I'm for, make everybody responsible for paying for what goes on in this county, I think you should do so. But I think you've had plenty of time. All of our information is open, and y'all have all been invited to the rescue squad to see how we operate. All of our stuff is open. We're transparent, and you can go and look at our financial information anytime. It's all out there. And I think our director is very worth the money he makes. I've seen around the president. You talk about kids and other agencies, you talk about their salary, but him, you talk about adding in cars and everything else. If you do that to all of them, theirs goes up too. And he's commensurate with this area.
Time is up, sir.
Thank you.
believe I've overlooked this young lady back here. Thank you. State your name.
Hi, my name is Marie Johnson. I live in Roanoke Mountain. The other day I was disheartened to find out that the Budget Committee has passed a budget thing saying that they're going to give $10,000 to the Tweetsy bicycle trail. Now, I like the bicycle trail, but my tax dollars should first and foremost go to the necessary needs. Somebody said, well, that's to promote tourism, help bring in money, or bring tourism to Elizabethton, and we believe that the $10,000 donation towards that will help bring other people in. Well, folks, we have a state park in Roan Mountain. I just wonder how many people that come to visit our state park in Roan Mountain would maybe not come, they eat at our restaurants there, they promote our business there. We have small businesses that are trying to grow in Roan Mountain as well. People come to Roan Mountain State Park, and how would they feel if they knew there's something happened, a kid tripped and fell in a campfire, or one of their people that are camping had a heart attack. They couldn't get help other than calling for 30 minutes from Elizabethton or something. I mean, I think our state park and our people that are there in Roan Mountain, I don't know what will happen to my insurance when this is closed down. Maybe my insurance might go up on my personal property, I don't know. But I feel like we have just been we're being treated like stepkids out there. And we need to think that Roan Mountain, we all pay the same percent taxes as the people that live in Elizabethton. And they get the services and we don't. There's a lot of other services that we don't get in Roan Mountain that people in the county down here in Elizabethton get. We just want our fair share of what our tax dollars are going to support. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna read testimonials. I got dozens literally from people all over my district and the county in general, but the more important issue to me, I don't like this brinksmanship. I don't like being here at the wire and discussing this matter. I don't think that's comfortable for anybody, and I don't think it's appropriate. Over the last couple of weeks, I have re-listened back to commission meetings and budget meeting recordings from 2012 and 2013, when you could change the names and it would be the same exact dialogue that's going on in this room today, pretty much. The $170,000 worth of funding that is the figure that we're talking about today, based on recordings that I listened to, seemed like it was said in a rather arbitrary way. And this guy was the voice of reason in the recording that I listened to when he asked the then chair how he came up with the figure, and had they done any research into what it would cost to implement a rescue squad service, bring in a competing vendor of some sort. My question would be, why haven't we looked into that between November 2012 to May 2013 and now? If there are service providers out there that could provide the same level of service for a lesser amount of money, we certainly, it seems, should have been diligent about trying to find that service and in fact prove that either it's available for a better price or that it's not available for a better price. And these guys were right all along. And I told the fellas at the squad yesterday that I was going to come and pitch this because, at this point, our goal should be to buy some time. We need to fix the situation. We need to ensure that rescue services are available for everybody in Polka, Elk Mills, Roan Mountain. I did the Roan Mountain Lives Matter campaign. I don't know what else to do there. But once we buy some time, like a year going forward, and ensure that services continue for that year, I think that it would be incumbent upon us to see what's out there, do the research, prove Mr. Arnold right or wrong once and for all, and quit attacking these guys and get on with their lives. That's really about all I have to say.
Jim. Ms. Brown, I think you've already spoken on
That's
that.
why she's speaking.
It's Mr. Peters, and then I'll let you speak again. 3 minutes, Mr. Peters.
Okay, as a member of the budget committee, I feel like I needed to address some things. During our budget process, we were presented by Mr. Arnold with a budget request of $387,000. In that request, he listed 3 things that he intended to do with that money. One was hire 3 additional paramedics at $108,000. Hire 4 additional EMTs at $119,000. And then $160,000 to offset budget deficits. Okay, with $170,000 we're already given to the rescue squad, that comes to $557,000. At that time, there was no mention of closing down Roan Mountain substations. There was mention of selling the whole thing, but there was no mention of closing down the Roan Mountain Hampton substation.
Why? Why?
I don't know that, but that was the request, and that's what the money was requested for. You know, we have to look at the budget as a whole. We have to look at the tax rate and everything. And let me say, I'm for the rescue squad. I'm not against the rescue squad. We have to have a rescue squad, but we have to, just like every department and everything here, it has to be run efficient. And another thing we were given is, at this time, there is this is by their own report, there is $307,000 of uncollected revenue. They have presented to their lawyer, and he has collected $29,000 of that. Only 29 in the last year. And of that, it costs $15,000 to collect that $29,000 on their lawyer. So, you know, I think we need to look at this, and like I say, we're not closing down those substations. We had no idea that, till I read this in the paper the other day, I had no idea that there was considering closing these substations. Here's what I would buy, is what they was going to do with the money. They was going to hire 3 additional paramedics and 4 additional EMTs, and to offset the budget with $160,000. So, that's just the information we had when we went through the budget.
Thank you, Mr. Peters. Ms. Brown, for the 3 minutes.
All right, this was brought to us in May, and up to that point, I've been on the budget committee for at least 9 years. Mr. Arnold stood before us and told us that $170,000 would do them for 4 years, and after 4 years, they hope to be sustainable to be on their own, and they wouldn't need any funding from the county. Then he comes to us in May and asks us for $387,000 more. How much do we want next year, people? The next thing is, you have a squad on Stony Creek, you have one at Sycamore Shoals. How do you justify closing down Hampton and Roan Mountain? I don't understand. We're as important as anybody down here. We pay taxes too.
Yes.
All right, the next thing. If our budget's so bad, how do you justify a raise when you don't, you know, when you're thinking about closing down a squad? I don't understand that. I just would like to see us live within your means. If truthfully, we find, I think we need to go back on this budget. We need to work through all the unanswered questions. I don't think we need to give any more money to a rescue squad that we don't know where it's going right now. I don't want you to shut our doors. I want you to give us time. I went back, I checked utility bills on Roan Mountain alone. We don't pay rent. It was only like $5,200 a year for the utilities. I don't understand. You know, I feel like we're being held hostage, and our taxes means as much in this county as anybody else's. I asked the county attorney here a few minutes ago, what happens if our squad closes? Will the county be held liable? And I was told, no, the rescue squad will be reliable. Do you want to add to that?
There is no state law that requires the county to have a rescue squad. It's not a division of county government. It's a private corporation. We give them tax money to fund them, but there is no requirement that the county have a rescue service. So that's where my opinion comes from. We're not required to have it. Do I think it's a bad idea? That's not my place to say.
But Mr. Arnold, we need a rescue squad in Rome Mountain. Please don't shut it down. Give us time to work through this.
One more, if you want to have his hand up, I think this should cover everybody. That's for the class, and that's sufficient. You state your name, sir, and you
My name is Frank Johns. I live in Rome Mountain. I've been sitting here listening to all of this, and this sounds like, the House of Representatives and Senate. We've got the board of directors have this opinion. We've got the county has this opinion, and I don't understand how the two entities, one, could not have met earlier and resolved this, and two, everybody's standing up here blaming them. They're blaming you. This is ridiculous. I mean, this is a county government. We're not talking about the United States of America, the government that's in the shape it's in. The people here are locals and should be able to get together and resolve this issue. Now, if it means you got to outsource it to somebody else or whatever you have to do, but you have all these people here who this affects their lives. And I think all of us in America are sick and tired of the government saying, well, it's not our fault, it's their fault, and it affects the people. So we really need to get off our dust, get together, whatever you have to do to work the situation out. But you're elected, and these people are the people who are obviously put in charge to run it. So I think it's both entities' fault for not getting together and fixing the situation ahead of time. So let's do it.
Mayor Humphrey is asked to speak, so Mayor, you have 3 minutes.
Go, Frank.
I don't think this will take 3 minutes. I haven't planned on speaking today, but everybody else has. All of these commissioners were elected by the people within their jurisdictions, as well as I, to represent people and do what's in their best interest. In previous years, the budget process, I'll agree with Mr. Johns, we probably didn't conduct business the way we should. There was always this pull and tug between the county commission and EMS services, and nobody's denying that there's an absolute need for EMS services in this county. I live in a rural section of the county as well. It takes a few minutes to get there. I've got parents their age, and it's a problem. And nobody's denying the fact that we need to provide service. But again, remember your first calling. With every matter that comes before you, you are to assess that situation, do as much homework as possible, assess thoroughly, and then make a decision, vote your conscience. And I want everyone in attendance here today that for the first time in the 5 years that I've been here, in the 5th budget process, this commission did do that very thing. They're not experts in EMS services, and neither is the mayor. So this time, once that request was made by EMS for the additional $378,000 from the county, additional $100,000 from the city, a total of $500,000 on top of the $190,000 that they're currently being paid. This budget committee did reach out to the professionals. They reached out to County Technical Services, and they did have an expert that came in, and based on the information that had been provided by the EMS group, they put together a very thorough assessment of the operation, not looking at only Carter County, but all 95 counties, because these people, again, are experts. Mr. Mark Foltz, he's a fire and emergency services management consultant. And in doing that, the overall assessment indicated that based on their review of the financials, the amount of equipment, the request was not warranted. Not warranted. So at that point in time, we regrouped, we put together a best practices workshop, and during that workshop,
Madam Chairman, this is an important point. We've got to hear this.
I'm just trying to be fair to everyone. I know you have 3 minutes, you have 3 minutes. Fine, Mr. Mayor, if you'd like to continue, I have 3 extra minutes.
So with that, we did put together a workshop. We invited all the commissioners, we invited EMS, city government, everybody was to come together at the table to see what we could do to improve the overall bottom line of EMS services. And at that workshop, there were a number of opportunities that were outlined by the professional. Things that the EMS group, their board of directors could do to improve that bottom line so that they would be able to provide the much needed services at a rate that we could afford. Now there's a great number of people in this county now that can't really buy their medicine. You know, they're challenged. We are an aged population, Mr. Von Cannon. Many of those are on fixed income. And how in the world can we, as elected officials, continue to increase property taxes for that type of service if there are opportunities within the board to make slight changes, business changes, that will really increase the bottom line? Now again, you're not expert, neither am I, but the expert said that there are countless opportunities, and we do need time. We do need time to sit down and try to work this out. At no point in time during all this discussion, even at the workshop, were we told that we would shut down. The EMS would shut down the Roan Mountain and Hampton stations. And to come in here at the 12 o'clock hour and after the budget committee has done their work, after they've consulted with the professional, the experts, and I commend you because it's the first time that I've seen that happen since I've been here. So this commission, folks, did, and you know my position, you know I've not always supported the commission. There's always been some tensions there. But this is one time that they did their homework, they did it right, and now we are at a point where we need to come together as one community, and let the EMS board take some of these suggestions, these opportunities, and come back to us in 2 or 3 months. And then let's put together a plan. And if we can't come to terms at that point, then we have no choice. We have to provide a service. Didn't matter what the statute said, we have a fiduciary duty and a moral obligation to provide this service. And we must do that. I'm going to finish right up. It's been a long public hearing. We went way beyond, and I think we've heard both sides of the story. But now is the time that we come together, we put together a plan, and I would make an appeal to the EMS board to keep those stations open until we have an opportunity to sit down, look at the financials, and then determine if we're going to fund additional monies or if we're going to have to put it out for bids and bring some other person in or firm to do that. Thank you.
Thank you everyone who spoke.
CTAS said it was not.
Since I gave the mayor an extra 3 minutes, I'll let Mr. Norris speak, and this will end the public hearing. Mr. Norris, you have 3 minutes.
I don't get more than 3 since the mayor.
My name is Richard Norris. I'm that attorney that Mr. Peters talked about that was trying to collect that debt. I've represented the rescue squad for about 8 years. And the funding has declined and issues have happened that have put us in a financial bind. And I know that it's going to be detrimental to a lot of people to shut in stations, but we need to look at why we're shutting stations and why we're doing that. First of all, is there's no funding.
Mr. Morris, speaking to the microphone.
First of all, there's a lack of funding and an increase in expense. The mayor's correct. There's a CTAS report done. Let me tell you what the mayor did say. That nobody here hardly knows, except a few of you, and he knows. That report was done at the request of the mayor. That report was done by Mr. Foltz from CTAS. No one from CTAS ever contacted the rescue squad. No one from CTAS ever stepped foot on the rescue squad grounds to talk to them about it. They never looked at a single document that was generated by the rescue squad. They never analyzed any of the employees. They never come and looked at the ambulances. They never went to Roll Mountain. They never talked to Mr. Hall. They never talked to me. All the information that CTAS got that generated that report is from him. So how do you know a report? It'd be like someone coming and analyzing this commission, but never come to this meeting, never come to this county, never talk to him, and then say that they're all messed up. They would disagree with that. They'd say, no, we never had our opportunity to even give you that information. So, Mr. Foltz did her report. It's not the one that came back and had that meeting. It was his boss. In that meeting, he indicated and he acknowledged that the report is incorrect. That this commission should rely on an incorrect report that was based upon only information not provided by the rescue squad to make a decision. That's not right. Let's go on to the collection stuff real quick. The workshop was a meeting on how to run a rescue squad. There was no opportunity to discuss anything. There was no joint discussion. I think 8 questions were asked and answered at the end. The supervisor left rather quickly. It was not the meeting that I think the budget chairman thought she was going to get as a sit-down discussion. Hey, city, county, rescue squad, let's all get together and work this out. We've never done that yet. And we've been able to do it for 6 to 8 months on back. Now, let's go back to collection real quick. Some of you commissioners are new. Some of you have been here for a while. You remember when I was here with Mr. Bowers as the chairman, I was instructed. You can have Some of you remember that when we were trying to make it and we had some funding, Mr. Bowers and some of the commissioners said, we don't want you to sue. It's not right for you to sue. It's not right for you to go out and try to collect this money off these people. Many commissioners, I don't know if they're here now, but I think some of them are still talking about it. When their constituents called them and say, hey, I got this bill from Rescue Squad, they'd say, we pay them money. You don't have to pay that bill. And then we have to be up against that. When the county's not behind the rescue squad, it's difficult to run a rescue squad. We have to have you guys behind us to collect the debt in order to make this thing work. It costs about $200 to file a suit. Most of our bills are $400 to $600 is most of the median. When you pay $200, folks, to collect 6, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. That's why the amount's $300,000. We've only spent, I think Mr. Peters said $15,000. $200 a case, averaged out, that's 75 cases. We've collected 20-some thousand. All those, there's some money coming in, and a lot of times it takes several years to collect that money back. It all doesn't come in the next day, it all doesn't come in next year. It takes a long time to do it. Here is what I would ask for the county commission to do. When I'm done and y'all have those meetings, some county commissioner come here and ask every one of you guys, will you raise your hand and say, I'm behind the Carter County Rescue Squad, and if some constituent calls me, I'm gonna tell them, it costs money to run it, please pay your bill. If we can get that word out, it will help us tremendously to have people pay their bills instead of having the county tell them not to pay their bills. And Mr. Bowers, Mr. Yogi Bowers is here, say we shouldn't be able to sue. It's just, you can't run a business that way. Thank you for your time. I hope that's explained to you.
I'm sorry, Ms. Bradley, you spoke twice.
I need to ask questions.
I'm sorry, Ms. Bradley. I said, Mr. Norris can speak, and we would end the public hearing. I've allowed several people to speak, that was not on the state statute
But
requirement.
Ms. Keller,
I think we've heard both sides.
yes, he did. I asked for it, the has to come in and do a study. I did, the budget committee. And another thing is,
Ms. Brown, I'm sorry, but you're out of order. Mr. Lyons, I'm sorry, I did say at the end of Mr. Norris' speech that we end the public hearing.
So you're not going to speak?
I would prefer that we end this. I think this is just a back and forth comment now. Because if I allow you to speak, I need to allow another person to speak and go on. So I think that we've heard both sides. I hope that you're satisfied that you got to speak today. I will make a comment on my own. I did ask to have some county commission members, some city council members, and some rescue squad members get together and look at the situation that they're in, and I'm still requesting that. So at this time, I will call the public hearing to end. Thank you very much.
Folks, with the conclusion of the public hearing, we will re-adjourn. We're going to take just about a 15-minute break and come back at 10:25 to start the special call commission meeting. Thank you.